You mentioned before we went to the break there, Dave, that Bert Prentice has got a lot of explaining to do. Now, let me set up this match. We had the Spiders going against the Eliminators for the tag team titles with the agreement that if the Spiders lose it, they're out of town. I mean, they're out of the territory.
And Bert's in the Spiders' corner.
Oh, yeah, Bert's in the Spiders' corner, and he was so confident, he said, I'm going to be with the champions. Yes, sir, I'll be managing a champion. We didn't know exactly what he meant. Let's take a look, and maybe you'll get an idea. Leapfrog over, and a DDT move on Saturn. Cronus clotheslined over the top rope. Out of the ring goes the Spider. Saturn was going up, had his man set up. He was knocked off by Bert Prentice. Knocked him into it. Count of 1, 2, 3. What is this? The bell sounds at 12:25, and Prentice, turning on his own man, now throws Kevin Christian out of the ring. And Bert Prentice joining forces apparently with the Eliminators, and the Spiders, who had it going well, are now being shellacked. There's a pile driver with a spike. Prentice splashes down on the Spider number 1. Again, here's the spike. They've already lost the match. The bout has ended. 12:25. Eliminators retain their... Look at that Prentice. For crying out loud. What a turncoat this son of a gun turns out to be. Reaches over and grabs the Eliminator's hand. The official time, 12:25. And the winners and still the USWA Tag Champions, the Eliminators. Kevin Christian still out on the floor. And Eliminators kicking the Spider number 2 out on the floor. They're both down on the concrete. The most appalling thing, though, as the Eliminator digs into his tights, pulls the money out. Great, Bert. Boy, I got to tell you, that's real character.
Once again, I tell no lies. I am managing the World Tag Team Champions like I said I would, honey. And what this is called, it's called the 1994 Bert Prentice Take No Prisoners Tour through the USWA. Because, honey, I'm back the way it should be and the way it's always been. Eddie Gilbert a couple of weeks ago came out and said, do you imagine how I had to pretend for 3 weeks to be Brian Christopher's friend? I've been pretending for 8 months, and I'm sick and tired. All the fans coming up. Give me a hug. Are you kidding, honey? You'll never touch his beautiful body again. And then I have to come out here and talk to the most overrated wrestling commentator in the business. But what this means, Jerry Lawler, it's time for you to be afraid once again. Brian Christopher, it's time for you to be afraid. You know, Jerry Lawler's been the unified champion on 14 different occasions. 11 times you lost that belt. I was in the corner against you, and I'm going for every belt. I have 2. There's 2 more to get. Monsters, go to the ring. It's time to party, honey.
This is Bert Prentice, stick a knife in the back type of the tour.
You love me, and you know that, sure.
Prentice heads to the ring as the Eliminators in a non-title bout. Let's go to Corey.
Team action, 1 ball and 10 minutes in time. First introducing, weighing in at a combined weight of 500 pounds from Memphis, Tennessee, Chris Frasier and his partner, the Spellbinder. Their opponents at a combined weight of 555 pounds, the USWA Tag Team Champions, wrestling out of Boston, Massachusetts, Saturn and Cronus, the Eliminators. With manager Bert Prentice, 1 ball, 10 minutes in time, tag team action.
FK Corey tells you who they are, we're going to see what they can do. We're looking at Kevin Christian, the referee. Across the ring over there is Chris Frasier in the Spellbinder, and that is Saturn starting out for the Eliminators as he's going against another well-muscled guy in the Spellbinder.
The Eliminators world champions, as Bert Prentice said. This is a non-title match. Spellbinder, boy, this guy has really been looking good recently, too. Don't count him out of this match here. His partner, Chris Frasier, over in the corner. But look at the move the Spellbinder just put on him. Eliminators may... If the Eliminators have looked past this match, they could find themselves in trouble here today. Oh, look at this. Spellbinder taking on both of them at once.
Firing that big right hand into Saturn's chops. It makes the tag now to Chris Frasier. Frasier has been around 3 or 4 years now, maybe 5 years, and he takes a shot upside him. Boy, did he nail him.
Man, that boot, he had the boot 6 feet off the mat as he popped him in the head with it. Wow.
Over the top comes Kronos, a double whip, double shoulder, and down goes Chris Frasier, and Bert Prentice making himself totally obnoxious. I cannot get over it. It's one thing to be just a flat-out crook so that everybody knows it. But when you come in there and sneak in behind and then turn your back on somebody that supposedly you're not only friends with, you're managing belly to belly. Chris Frasier pumped down by Kronos as Kronos nailed him hard into the mat. Spellbinder needs to get back in that ring right now.
Yeah, you know, you're talking about Prentice. I guess knowing him over the years, we shouldn't have been surprised. But yeah, he said for 7 or 8 months he had been around. Nice guy, doing some charity work, all sorts of things. And then, to take no prisoners is what he says. And then all of a sudden, the money, the green got to him. And he turned on the Spiders like that. But now he's with the world champions. He figures he's going to make even more money on their winning.
Well, Bert has always been the best friend that money can buy, and he is exactly that. Saturn down hard at the throat, and the referee starts the count. He breaks it quickly, but not before he ended up doing some damage to Chris. Chris Frasier has not been warmly received in there.
Well, Chris badly needs to get a tag on the Spellbinder, and the Eliminators are determined. They're making the smart move, like it or not. They're keeping Chris in there, keeping him away from the tag. Oh, look at this. Biting him, choking him.
Kronos goes right for the forehead as he starts biting away on Chris Frasier. Yeah, normally what we would do is we would say, well, that's good, smart wrestling tactic for a tag team to keep the guy that's injured in there. Sometimes it's difficult to chew on that and say it when you're talking about somebody like the Eliminators connected with Bert Prentice, but it is good wrestling.
There's a big right hand that knocks Frasier off his feet. Any thoughts Chris had of getting over to that man looking across? The Spellbinder are eliminated right there. Chris is just trying to keep from being pinned now.
Missouri Tiger Jeff Gaylord joining us back in the UNWA, and I'm looking forward to that match with Doug Gilbert. There was a good move by the Eliminators, although it was 2-on-1, which doesn't surprise me. You got to give these guys their credit when it comes to wrestling. They do make some very good moves in there. And if that doesn't work, hire Bert Prentice. He'll take care of the rest of it.
Get that third man in the corner.
Yeah, you bet I'm saying the truth about you. Whoop kick by Saturn off that top one. 1, 2, 3. That's all. So, the Spellbinder started out with some pretty snappy moves in there, but Chris Frasier really was never able to get it going as the Eliminators teamed it up together, Dave, and did their number.
And as we talk about, they kept him in there the rest of the way, finally had him wore down to the point where there was no chance he was going to break out of the cover. The count of 3 fell, and now Bert Prentice with a face-off with the Spellbinder here.
Yeah.
They're look at Bert holding the referee out of the action as the Eliminators About set to go. Here's the Missouri Tiger in here. That'll even it up. And now all of a sudden there's no confrontation. The Eliminators are slowly inching their way out of the ring. And look, they're not going to turn their back on the Missouri Tiger either. Bert is saying, come on, time to go. Time for lunch.
Little change of temperament right there as the Eliminators, when it was 2-on-1 on the Spellbinder, all four jumping over and pounding on him. And then when Jeff Gaylord came in to make it 2-on-2, that's a different story entirely.
There's the indication from Bert Prentice that, yeah, okay, you've got this situation here, but I'm not going to get involved. And Jeff, welcome back, and thanks for coming in.
Thanks a lot, Dave. You know, those Eliminators think they're really bad and really big. But you got to remember this. Spellbinder and myself are really bad, and we're really big. And I think that gold will look good around our waist. What do you think?
Are we announcing a tag team here, or are we you going to keep us in suspense a while on something like that?
We're always open for any opportunities, and I sure would like to get a piece of those Eliminators, that's for sure.
That's an interesting thought. These two guys together going for the World Tag titles. Yeah, we'll kind of keep that in mind, and let's see if that'll develop somewhere along the way. We're going to be back with more from the USWA coming up right after this.